Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, the entire state is offline, get in there now, fix it, do whatever it takes. When you're expected to lie to the FBI. Hey, let's willingly violate security policies because we think we are special and earned it. The final nail in the lax security coffin. Part 1. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. The entire state is offline, get in there now, fix it, do whatever it takes. You don't do any work on Friday in IT. If it goes wrong, you'll be there all weekend fixing it. So, in the spirit of being careful, Friday afternoon drinks were a tradition. 4 p.m. Friday was beer o'clock, and as the resident-only person not excited by Crown Lager, responsibility for arranging the drinks fell to me. No big deal, right? Except that this was the day that I finally got an unlimited account with the local liquor store that would be billed to the company automatically. I wasn't going to waste it. I did not waste it. Our small 10-person company got rip-roaringly drunk. Like arrested for being outside in this state drunk. There was Jack Daniels cans stacked to the ceiling. Chips had fallen liberally to the floor. Someone couldn't find a bin and filed a chicken wing in the file cabinet, under C for chicken. It was one of those drinking sessions where everyone is just a total mess. Around 9 p.m., after 5 solid hours of AU-spec partying, we broke off and headed into the night. I wandered down to a nearby bar and watched some bands play for an hour, downed another jug of beer, and smiled to myself that the week had ended. Fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I ran outside, tripping up the stairs as I went, managed to steady myself against a signpost, and answered. It was the CEO. The primary and secondary root servers were down. I stood frozen in time for an instant, the same way a deer looks at the headlights of an oncoming car, and then asked him to repeat himself. CEO, yes, both the root servers are down, the entire state is offline, get in there now, fix it, do whatever it takes. I cannot stress enough that these 2 servers were the most important thing our company had. They in and of themselves were the primary thing around which our business existed, and all other things were secondary to them. My state was by far the biggest, with some of the biggest ISPs and content providers in the country attached. And this was the first full network outage we'd ever had. And it was my problem. And I'd consumed enough alcohol that my blood could have been used as a fire accelerant. I yelled something and ran off in the direction of work. It was only when I bumped into the glass front doors before they opened that I started to realize how drunk I was. When the elevator arrived at my floor, and I bumped into both sides of the hallway before making it to the door, I knew I was in trouble. That hallway was only 20 feet long. But it didn't matter. My wallet hit the card reader. I'd made it. Habit's a funny thing. You get so used to the noises, clicks, beeps and responses that you realize something's wrong in an instant. There was no response from the card reader. An error, surely? Interference, something new in my wallet? I dug the card out, throwing my wallet on the ground, and badged it on its own. Nothing. Not an access denied 6 beeps, or a card format unrecognized 5 beeps. Nothing. The lights were on, but no one was home. A few feet away, the keypad for the alarm was lit up like a headlight convention. All the lights were on, the screen totally blacked out. No beeps for key presses. Just nothing. The blood drained from my face. The root servers were inside, suffering some unknown fate, our customers probably getting more furious by the minute, and I could not open the door again. No, sod it. I wasn't taking any more of this security systems crap. I was getting into this data center, security system be damned. You all know what I'd tried before, and I knew as well, so I didn't bother trying again. My tools, once again, were behind the locked door, and then the light went on over my head. Chopsky, I can't. Go through the door. I can't. Go around the door. I can't go. Under it. But can I go over it? This is the logic of a drunk engineer. Try all the dimensions. There was a chair that we left outside for people working outside the DC, so in my infinite wisdom, I dragged the chair over to the wall and lifted a ceiling tile. Unlike the DC, where the ceiling tiles were weighed down with hundreds of heavy cables, the office was free and clear. And the wall itself stopped at the ceiling. So, pushing the tile into the cavity between the suspended ceiling and the concrete, I hoisted myself up into the ceiling. This did not work as well as I'd hoped because I was not very strong. I kicked and pushed off the wall, scrambling to push myself up onto what I now realized was a very thin wall. For those not familiar with a suspended ceiling, metal rods are drilled into the concrete block above, and a grid pattern hangs below it. Inside those grids are weak, light tiles basically made of a combination of cardboard and plaster. Looking at the predicament I'd gotten myself into, it became apparent that the only things that were going to support my weight up here were the tie rods into the concrete. So I'd hold onto the rods with my hands, and lying prone in the ceiling, distribute the rest of my weight along the horizontal connectors. I'd drop down onto the file cabinet at the far end of the room, about 15 feet away. This plan was flawless. And it worked. For about 6 of the required 15 feet, upon which point my hand slipped, and I fell through the center of the ceiling tile, towards the floor below. By some insane miracle, I landed mostly on my feet, scrambling ungracefully to regain balance, coughing up ceiling tile dust and God knows what else. Probably asbestos. When the coughing stopped, I ran over to the security panel, pulled the power, and plugged it back in. It beeped a single happy post beep and hummed to life, making normal sounds instead of the endless buzzing it had been making before. My access restored, I quickly found the problem: a circuit breaker had tripped, and due to a wiring error on the part of an electrician at some point, both root servers had been wired into the same circuit, rather than the different feeds on different UPSs via different distribution boards that they were supposed to. With a dustpan and brush, I set about cleaning up the nightmare my dramatic entrance had caused. It was not a small mess. Ceiling tiles are about 5 feet by 2 feet, and this one had exploded. It took about an hour. After finally sweeping up all the mess, putting the ceiling tile I'd broken to get up there back together, and replacing the one I'd broken getting down, I walked my ass out the door, feeling smug that no one would be the wiser for my ceiling entrance, and I'd have a grand story to tell. Monday morning rolled around and I was the last one in. Aaron stared at me. "Aaron, what the hell did you do to my desk?" "Chopsky." "Wha?" I walked into the office and stared in horror. I don't know what the hell I'd cleaned up, but it looked someone had hit a bag of flour with a baseball bat. It was slash everywhere slash. How wasted was I? What did I spend an hour cleaning? And how in almighty crap did I diagnose an electrical circuit being miswired and split with no electrician tools of any kind? I have no idea. But what I did know was how to break in. So I documented the procedure and added it to the tech support wiki. When you're expected to lie to the FBI. Players in this drama. $me. $BM, boss man. $FBI, FBI agent. Some years ago, I get an offer for a side job. I nearly always have something going on the side, but it happened that I didn't right then. The guy who made the offer was a friend of an acquaintance. I didn't know anything about him, and he lived about 4 hours from me. We spend some time talking online, and it seems like a good gig. Basically, it was writing some shipping/warehouse software. He wanted me to travel down to meet him, expenses paid. I agreed. When I got there, things seemed a little bit sketchy, but often people who are starting small businesses or running one-person businesses don't have much capital. So I didn't think too much about it. We met in a restaurant. He told me about the job again. I patiently listened to nothing new, wondering why I had to travel for this. Then he tells me I need to come meet his client. That his client won't sign the contract until we meet. Okay, fair enough. I think his client wants to see if I'm capable. We go to the client's place of business. Right before we go in, this guy tells me not to worry about anything he might say. If I have any questions, ask him afterwards. So, he represents me to the client as an employee. Other than that, things are fine. I don't get to see any of the computer equipment, the sysadmin isn't there. I don't get to see any of the existing software, because we aren't building off the existing software. After we leave, I question the employee bit, and the guy says he doesn't want his client to know he's using contract labor. Well, okay. If you're just starting in business, you want to look bigger than you are. We get down to brass tacks, and the guy has a whole elaborate system set up for work production and payment. I think it's overly elaborate, but whatever. I'm not planning to cheat the guy, and if he's paranoid, that's his problem. He would front me some money, about a week's worth. Every day, I would upload the current source code to the cloud. He wanted to pay by the hour, so I would keep a time sheet of hours worked. Personally, I think this is plain stupid. If I give a price for completed work, then I carry the extra time for mistakes. If he pays by the hour, then he carries the price for mistakes. But some people pay for work. Some people pay for the time your ass is in the chair. Every 2 weeks, he would pay based on the time sheet hours. This works out fairly well until the first time he missed a paycheck. I notify him that I haven't received payment and I keep working. When I hit the 1 week mark, the amount of the initial advance, I keep working, but I stop uploading the source code. I get a paycheck. I start uploading the source code again. Next time I send him a timesheet, I get a phone call. $BM, you're cheating me. I can see it on your timesheet. There are 3 days here where you put down hours you didn't work. $Me, what do you mean? $BM, you didn't work these 3 days because I didn't send your paycheck. That's how you forced me to pay you when I didn't have the money. $Me, I worked those hours. I just didn't upload the source. $BM, from now on, you need to upload the source, or I won't count those hours as work. But I'll go ahead and pay you this time, even though I don't believe you really worked those hours. My paycheck finally arrived a few days late, but without the days I supposedly didn't work. I calculated where I was on hours worked versus hours paid, taking into account the initial front money. It was good, so I kept working. When I reached the end of the paid hours, I stopped working and stopped uploading. I get another phone call. $BM, why are you not uploading source? $Me, I've run out of money. You didn't send a complete paycheck last time. If you want me to keep working, you need to pay me. $BM, you're cheating me. Do you think I'm made of money? $Me, this is what we agreed. If you'd rather switch to a pay for work delivered, I can do that. $BM, no. You'll cheat me out of more money. I can get some kid out of high school to do this for less than I'm paying you. If you don't start working again, you will lose the whole project. $Me, why don't you go find that high school kid? That was the end of that. Or so I thought. About a month later, I get a frantic phone call. $BM, you have to fix this. $Me, fix what? $BM, the client's computer system has been compromised. Everything's gone. $Me, don't you have another employee now? The one that took my place? $BM, but he's just a kid. He can't fix this. Can't you at least give me some suggestions? $Me, what exactly happened? $BM, it's the sysadmin. He got fired. He took down the whole system. $Me, why did he get fired? $BM, we didn't need him anymore. The system was up and running fine. After he left, he remoted in and erased all the operating systems. $Me, well, you've got backups. Reload everything. $BM, we can't. The sysadmin got the job because he had unlicensed copies of all the operating systems we needed. He used those to set up the network. Now we can't reload without buying licenses. $me. After I hung up, I had a good laugh and realized that I dodged a bullet with that company. That was the end of that. Or so I thought. Early one Saturday morning, I'm sleeping in, enjoying a well-earned day off. Phone rings. $me, hello? $FBI, this is Special Agent XXXX from the FBI. I need to ask you a few questions about this company. $me, I don't work for them anymore. $FBI, it concerns the computers that were compromised. $me, I wasn't employed there when that happened. $FBI, yes, but $BM got some advice from you at the time? He says you can confirm the incident. $me, he did call me. I talked to him for about 10 minutes. $FBI, good. I need to verify exactly what he told you about the damage done. $me, he told me the operating systems had been erased. $FBI, yes. Can you estimate how much monetary damage was done by erasing the operating systems? $me, well, none. They didn't own the operating systems, so it's not like any property was damaged or stolen. $FBI, they didn't own the operating systems? $me, that's what they told me. They were running unlicensed copies. $FBI, he told you that? $me, yes. He told me that the sysadmin, the person who had compromised the system, brought the operating systems with him. After they fired him, he took the operating systems back. But he said they were unlicensed, so I don't know that they legally belong to the sysadmin. $FBI, thank you for your cooperation. Hey, let's willingly violate security policies because we think we are special and earned it. The final nail in the lax security coffin. Part 1. So this happened about a year or so ago. The lawsuits finally were settled, so I am able to write about it now. Once again, timing, spacing, and conversations are embellished for dramatic effect. I do this to make my stories enjoyable. Otherwise they would be boring AF. A high earner at our company had one of her underlings call into its support with an issue. She was sending on behalf of, instead of sending as user for delegated access. The tech was told simply that inside Citrix it sends on behalf of, but outside it sends as. Took the tech a little bit to put 2 and 2 together, but he got to 4 in the end. The reason why it was working outside Citrix was because the underling was logging into the high performer's account, instead of adding the second mailbox. He dug a little deeper and discovered that all of her underlings were logging into her accounts everywhere. Not just Outlook. So he wrote up a ticket and passed it along to me after being told that they would not change their ways. I picked it up and the first thing I did was run a lockout report. This was just so I could gauge how many devices were logging into her account. 42, actual unembellished number. Now picture it in your head. Your direct supervisor, the ones who actually do work, picking up the ticket and constantly moving as they check this tool or that tool. Then they just freeze. That was me that day. 42 devices? Okay. I call up the lady on the phone. $me equals Commander William Adama. $UU equals uppity user. Or Tammy too. $me hello, this is $me with IT. I was calling about a situation I had been made aware of. Several people log into your account for the purposes of work, correct? $UU yes, that is right. Because of our high volume we need to be able to quickly respond as me for all situations. This has come up before and I must say that I have fought hard to get this permission, and will not let it go. $me I need to know how many devices are currently logged into your credentials at this moment. It is a matter of extreme urgency. $UU Christ really? Hold one. Intermission. $UU 12 devices. 5 PCs including mine. Everyone's phones including mine, an iPad I own, and the reception PC in the front foyer. $me only 12 devices? I am reading 37 devices at this current moment. Earlier it was at 42. $UU. That is just not possible. The only ones who have my password are the current employees. I have you guys change it every time we get a new one or let one go. $Me, how do we change it? Walk me through the entire process. $UU, I call you guys and have you set it back to what it was before. Long pause. $UU, hello? $Me, do you not see the issue here? Do you not see what you have done? $UU, what do you mean? $Me, I have your tickets pulled up here in the system. You have submitted several requests to us about disappearing loans in your system. You have directly asked us before if people could be stealing your loans. And right now you tell me you never change your password. You call in and tell us what you would like it changed to. Do you not see why this is happening? $UU, when you change the password in our system, it makes you put it back into all of the devices, so it can't be that. Me, first off, no, it does not. Second off, even if it did, all they would have to do is put the same freaking password back in anyways. $UUO? Me, yeah, your branch is down. I am locking all of your accounts for now, and we have to get InfoSec involved. I am sorry, but it is out of my hands. I get up from my desk, which was at the old building, and I walk into my boss's office, who was in a meeting with the EVP of IT, the CIO, and the accounts team supervisor. Oh good. You are all here. This was how I interrupted their meeting to relay the information. In the movies, no one ever really truly captures the look of horror that slowly creeps into the faces of those who come upon the realization of terrible news. Unlike before in my past stories, this was not a security loophole, this was not a breach through intrusive means, this was merely a self-important uppity user who thought they were above the law, so to speak, because they were a high performer. Thankfully they were from a branch that was only 2 miles away, so we were able to head this one off at the pass in terms of limiting their ability to gripe to the correct people to get their accounts turned back on. This day was a bad day for me in the terms of management. And a worse day in terms of paperwork. I never had to fill out legal forms before. To be continued tomorrow.